It was an extremely important summit. Prominent leaders from the entire world. President Obama from the United States, President Xi from China, and many others participated. And we played here a very important role. We participate in all the panels and all the discussions. We announced together with Canada about a new initiative to develop nuclear forensic techniques in order to be able to detect the source of any nuclear attack or radiological terrorism, and by this to deter countries to cooperate with terrorist groups, because you will be able to detect them and to punish them if they will be involved in nuclear terrorism. And nobody, there were here many leaders of Arab countries, leaders and foreign ministers and president of Arab and Muslim countries, nobody mentioned the name of Israel in any negative context, or try to mock Israel or to use the opportunity to criticize Israel. On the contrary, we played here a very important role. We were warmly received by the host, by the Prime Minister of Holland, by President Obama, who is actually the initiator of this conference. And we also declare here what we did in order to tighten security over our nuclear research centers in Sorek, in Dimona, to prevent the stealing of sensitive materials, and as I mentioned before, also to develop nuclear forensic capacities, techniques, in order to deter nuclear terrorism.
How strong is Israel's nuclear security?
I think that it's very strong. I think that Israel is a very responsible country, and I must tell you, when I was chairman of the Defense and Foreign Affairs Committee of the Knesset 10 years ago, there were allegations in newspapers in Egypt, in Jordan, in Arab countries, that the nuclear reactor in Dimona is very old and therefore vulnerable to earthquakes. So I established a special parliamentary panel to investigate the security and the safetiness of the nuclear facility in Dimona. We visited Dimona together with some experts, and we got a clear impression or result that it's a very safe nuclear facility. I think that the Israeli Atomic Agency or Committee, led by Shaul Chorev, is putting a lot of emphasis about security and adapting the best practices of nuclear security in our nuclear research centers.
Iran wasn't part of this summit, but yet you brought it sort of to the table talking about it. So how concerned Israel is about nuclear terrorism and terrorism connected possibly to Iran?
Yeah, we are concerned. The fact that it's never happened doesn't mean that it will never happen. It never happened before. And that is what's so important about this summit, that world leaders from 50, 60 countries are discussing how to prevent nuclear terrorism before the catastrophe and not after the first accident or the first catastrophe. This is very nice. And that's what I was saying, if such rogue countries like North Korea or Iran are developing nuclear weapons, this increases the possibility that the world will face in the future nuclear terrorism. And the fact that Iran just dared to try to smuggle 40 heavy ballistic rockets to the hand of terrorists in Gaza, and we intercepted this ship that was loaded with those heavy ballistic rockets. This means that there are no limits and no borders to such countries. And here, this is another reason why it's so important to prevent the nuclear armament of Iran, and to force Iran, to compel Iran to give up its nuclear enrichment facility. Not just because Iran is very dangerous in itself, but also because Iran is very likely, sooner or later, also to cooperate with terrorists. Already Iran is supplying terrorists with deadly weapons.